guys, welcome back to another new episode of R&D Garage. I want to give all our new subscribers a big welcome. Thank you so much for subscribing. And of course, everybody who's joined since the beginning or along the way, you guys know I appreciate you so much. So today we are back to working on Blueberry. This is probably going to be the last video for her for a bit. You guys, if you watched the previous video, you know that she actually is drivable now, and I'm so super excited. But before we take her out on the street, we got to put her front bumper on and the splash shields. So that's exactly what we're going to do today. Okay guys, well Dee's going to help me put on the front bumper. We're not going to be as careful as we would if the paint was absolutely perfect. She's basically going to get a respray anyway, so we're not going to be as careful as we would if her paint was perfect. But it is a job best handled by two, only because the front bumper can be a little flimsy and bendy. Always make sure you got your styrofoam piece back on and that the cables for the headlights, all the wires and everything are out of the way. I think that's it. Let's do this, Dee. Awesome. Well, that looks pretty. We still got some trim and bolts, but we're halfway there. Okay guys, it's reinforcement bar time. So this, remember, goes like this and all the holes should line up perfectly. So for this one, since it's very, very important not to cross thread them or strip them out because it's these weird little funky bolt things, I like to use Weehaw's PH3. It fits perfectly. So these should go in with no resistance whatsoever. If you feel any resistance, you know the rule. Stop, take it back out, maybe try to do a little bit of adjustment, and then try again. So now that this is in place, I'm going to go ahead and start installing these little bolts. And I'm just going to kind of do almost like a cross trick again. And I'm not going to fully tighten them right now. And it might help. Ooh, yeah, that one felt kind of weird. Yeah, see, that one feels weird right there. I'm going to hold off on that one, and I'm going to try it in another place. There we go. I love it when it just kind of goes in smoothly. Let's see. Let's try this guy. Perfect. Awesome. Beautiful. And you can tell it has a nice fit on these because it actually kind of pops off when you take it off. Let's try this guy again. Nice. Oh no, there it goes. Perfect. And the last guy right here. And now I'm going to go back and just tighten them up just a little bit more. Okay, time to move on. Okay, 10mm bolt time. So there are two of these, one right here and one right there. And so I'm just going to go ahead and tighten up just a little bit, not super tight. We're not actually going to be torquing any of these down or making sure they're really, really tight until all the bolts are in. Always kind of a smart move to do. So I've got my ratchet, and first I'm going to put these in my hand And before I ratchet, I'm going to go ahead and put in the other one. Beautiful. And now I have a slightly longer length on here, only because it's super important. Even though her paint is crap, I still don't want to hit it. So again, be careful and try not to hit your car. Okay, that's tight enough. Beautiful. Time to move on. Okay, it's inner fender liner time. So these can be a bit awkward to play with as well, but I know you can do it. So what I'm going to do here is basically put in all 5 Phillips screws and then move on to there. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a pain in the butt to kind of line it up at first, but I like to start kind of with the outer one and go from there. So I've already got my first Phillips on my baby Weehaw. So we're going to go ahead and put her in. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to leave her like that, and I'm going to go ahead to the edge and try to get that one lined up perfectly. That looks good, but there we go. So that one's in, and thank you, Dee, for holding it up. Now we're going to go ahead and do this guy. Oops, not quite lined up. You know what, let's go for, here, you not lined up. There we go. So if one doesn't want to line up right away, you can move on to the next one. Let's see, this guy. There we go. And always, you kind of want to play with it. There we go. So we're just going to kind of screw that in, and then that bottom one. Let's see. This guy right here, we did not want to go in. But now, no. There we go. So yeah, it's a lot of finagling. Okay, it's clip time. So these are kind of a bear to put in, but it's okay, we'll get through it. You want the head all the way pulled down, and the more you can kind of squash these together, the better. And so what we're gonna do, I'm going to use, there's going to be 5 of them, and the first one is going in here. And so you want to make sure this fits as well as it possibly can. There you go. And sometimes it's easier to actually push it through this. It's in the hole, and bam, that's basically it. And so we've got 4 more to do here. So that was the first one. Now we're going to move over here. And so again, it's all the way down. Squash those down a little bit. Push it in. Come on, buddy. There we go. Bam. I like those. Okay, and now we've got one. Let's do this one. So this, it's interesting. You can kind of pull it through there and then find the hole. And buddy over here. So pushing it through. Bam. And I think that's basically it. We got this one, we got that, 3, 4, I could have sworn there was another one, but I don't see it. So I think we're good. Let's move on. Now that the clips are in, I can go ahead and tighten up all my Phillips head over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And these feel a little bit weird because they're going into plastic. So even if it feels a little odd, like they're not completely going in, trust me, they are. Whoops. It's always hard to do these sideways than from the front. There we go. So now you can see how loose I actually have them. And you may, like me, have to turn your tire to actually get at these, by the steering wheel, not the actual tire. Okay. That was a clip. So I think we are good. Let's move on. Okay, so I'm now working on getting that screw basically bolting on the bumper. So this was kind of a bear to film, but we've got a picture of where it goes. And there we go. Now it's in. Let's move on. Okay guys, now we have 2 clips and a screw. And the first clip is going to go right here. And then we have the screw that goes in there, but there's also another clip which goes right there. And the thing of this is, when you're putting in the inner fender liner, this actually tucks behind like that, behind the front bumper, but this one sits above. So you guys probably already knew that, but at least we got it on film now. Okay, put my pointer aside, and the biggest clip goes over here. And this may take a little finagling. We're going to kind of screw it down like that. And so if you hold it into place, it should just pop in. Let's see. And I may need to get in front of the camera here, so I apologize. Might not. Oh, crap. Oof. Okay. We're gonna. Thank you. Okay, let's try this again. I'm gonna try it maybe from here. Let's see if I can get in there a little bit, which I'm totally. Am I blocking the camera? Okay. Maybe. It's like literally impossible to see. There we go. Okay, see? So it eventually goes in. Now we're going to go ahead and pop in this guy up here. I'm going to come over, sorry, over here so I can see. Beautiful. And now, with my baby Weehaw, whew, okay. So this tucks under like we said, and I'm probably gonna have to sit in a different place. Let's see, possibly. That works. Woo, and we're in. Good thing I dropped it right then. Well guys, we got 1 screw and 1 clip left. So the screw, I'm going to lift up so you guys can see, but there's a little part right here. You see the metal? We are lining that up with this hole right here, and we're going to tighten it, but only a little bit of finger tight right now. There we go. Okay, so that is good. And now we're working with another clip, and it goes right here. And so again, make sure these are nice and squeezy, and man, look at that. Oh, poor girl. We're gonna get you all better. Perfect. Bumper is on. It's not pretty, but it's on. Okay guys, so we're down to the last 2 bolts. They're supposedly both 10mm. However, this one got ground down so much and it looks like crap that we're actually using an 11mm socket on it. So just the way things go. And you'll notice we don't have a splash shield covering everything. The one that came on the car was so droopy because all the oil from the dented oil pan was going into it, and it just was not a good situation. So we are currently looking for a new one. Okay, so back to these 2 bolts. These are the last 2 bolts on the bumper, and one goes there, and one goes there. And again, you're gonna have to finagle this guy a little bit to get him to fit, but not a big deal. Let's get going. want to drive her already. Breaking that clutch. Okay, so I'm going to work on putting in this one first. And like I said, you kind of have to move the front bumper just a little bit to get it to go in. Beautiful. And so I'm just going to leave it like this. I'm going to put this guy in up here, and then I'm going to go ahead and ratchet. So again, kind of moved it with my hand a little bit. Beautiful, that guy's in. So let's go ahead. Perfect, and now I gotta change out the socket, even though they're both supposed to be, oh, this is one of those push buttons. I swear we have so many torque wrenches. It's like, is this a push button, or how does this go on? There we go. Okay. You can see it's kind of wiggly because it's like between sizes. Beautiful! Now these are both on. Bumper's on. Whew. As you can see, Blueberry is finally on the ground. So now's the time that she's all set to go. Go ahead and tighten up all the bolts that you just put on. Make sure the clips are in there. Make sure your fluids are good. You know, do a fluid check, all that. Okay, a couple more things. We have a new drain plug on our oil pan, the spoon drain plug, and that we're gonna have to swap out. Okay, let me back up. Manufacturer says that they want you to drain all the oil at 500 miles, make sure there's no metal shavings in there, nothing else, and then go ahead and do another oil change. And so I'm definitely gonna be showing that to you guys pretty soon. Also, the clutch break-in period is also about 500 miles, and so I'm going to be driving her a little bit gently, not, you know, how a Teggy should maybe be driven, but I'm going to take care of her, and we're going to get through that break-in period, and then I'll be bringing you more blueberries. But, you know, for the time being, we're going to move on to the FJ, and we want to move on to the Mustang. So there's still more exciting things to come from R&D Garage. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing all of R&D Garage's videos. I appreciate you guys so much. And now I am going to go take a drive.